Yes, it's another edition of Matters Arising on BCOS television, right here in the city of Ibadan. And this is how we do it every Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Yes, Matters Arising, like you know, we deal with issues concerning Nigerians, issues affecting the people, issues concerning politicians, our elders, and all other sectors of the economy, agriculture, politics, the energy sector, the petroleum sector, and we bringing in guests, eminent personalities to delve on these issues, to discuss on these issues, and to, yes, make our opinions and views known through our guests on the program. Matters Rising is the program, and like I said, this is how we do it every Tuesday afternoon. And yes, this afternoon, yes, we'll be discussing, and an issue talking about politics here. Let me say here, we knew about vote buying. Yes, it has been on for a long time. Another dimension to that is threats. Yes, threats, vote transaction threats, yes. People trying to intimidate you into voting for one particular party. And meanwhile, you have a particular candidate or particular party you want to vote for. So that is what we'll be discussing today. And like I said, we have two eminent personalities on the program. We are expecting Adibin Padelo Esquire. He's the legal secretary of the Interparty Advisory Council, Oyo State chapter, and already in the house is Comrade Kehinde Ojoawu, public affairs analyst. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, you can just watch us, BCOS TV Live on Niger TV app, Star Times channel 113, Go TV channel 134, and terrestrial channel 28 UHF. And of course, live streaming on facebook.com/BCOS TV and on YouTube, BCOS TV YouTube channel. Yes, no station beats the reach. The program is Matters Arising on BCOS television, right here in the city of Ibadan. Yes, and before we go to the real crux of the matter, vote buying, we know. We have been talking about it before elections start, during elections in the past. We knew people who will come with Ghana must go bags, trying to, lure people with money to, just attract their votes for their party. Later, it extended to trying to, use transactions on phones and all those, and seeing the voters, gathering them together somewhere in a particular location, giving them money. And so, yes, we used to know that. But the one that I did not really, myself, I knew about it, but I did not know that it had a grassroots. Yes, threatening people with, intimidating them to vote for a particular party. So many threats, different dimensions. And I will just go through some of this. We are still expecting Comrade, I might call him Comrade, because he acts like a comrade sometimes. Adibimpe Adilo Esquire, but Comrade Kehinde Ojoawu is around. Let me quickly go through this piece. I did a little research on my own, yes, on these threats, the intimidation of voters. Well, we call it a vote transactions threat, but in my own little way of translating it, it is intimidation of voters. Now, intimidation of voters or voter intimidation refers to the act of intimidating, threatening, or coercing another person to interfere with their rights to vote for the candidate of their choice. And as of 2020, voter intimidation was a federal civil crime punishable by a fine up to 1 year imprisonment or both. Federal laws provide for civil lawsuits based on voter intimidations, and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act makes it unlawful to intimidate, threaten, or coerce another individual at the polls. Most people, especially at the polls, they do that. They intimidate voters at the polls. I'll give you examples in the course of this little research that I made. The Voting Rights Act also makes it illegal to coerce any person while registering to vote or while voting. And in addition to the federal laws prohibiting voter intimidation, each state has its own laws prohibiting voter intimidation on the part of the victim. And let me just list some examples of this phenomenon that is talking about threats to, voters, talking about election period, the polls. Violent behavior inside or outside the poll site, verbal threats of violence, confronting voters while putting on military-style or official-looking uniforms, brandishing firearms or the intimidating display of firearms, aggressively approaching voters' vehicles and recording voters' vehicle license plates. Yes, and so many others. It goes on and on like that. And of course, like I said, I have Comrade Kehinde Ojoawu. He's a public affairs analyst, and he's here on the program Matters Arising. Yes, in your own opinion, my comrade, to the layman, we have just read the theoretical aspect. Yes, what is voter intimidation, transaction threat during elections?
Thank you very much. That voters intimidation is not recent in our political experience in this country. It starts when politicians dwell on violence to secure a substantial number of votes to give them a win in an election. Those politicians that explore intimidation or violence, they are politicians. So they engage in all sorts of measures, including vote buying. That vote buying is it pays. And the voters too, or the people, some of them are also deceived too, as well as the politician. So the two of them are cat and mouse. There is mutual suspicion between the two of them. So when a politician gives money to the voter to vote for him, he knows that he may be betrayed, the voter may not vote for him. So now employ intimidation to make sure that the voter vote for him. And in another dimension, the party that has the monopoly of power in the country or in the state,
the incumbent.
They have the monopoly of power. They are the one controlling the armed forces, the police, and this thing. So when they feel that they are not popular, they can, use intimidation. Using the instrument of violence. You can see what happened in Osun State recently. You can see what happened. Despite the fact that there is a sitting government in Nigeria that is saddled with the responsibility of maintaining law and order, the government folded its arms, watching people perpetrating violence. They know that their objective is to intimidate the voters, so that voters will not come out on election day.
I want to disagree with you with that. What about the security aspect? Why the large personnel of security were, deployed to the Osun State?
It's another instrument to instill fear in people, because when people are bombarded or a place is being flooded with security personnel with firearms, some people may not be courageous to come out and vote. It's another method of intimidation. But the pre-election violence is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's the one that is, it was very overwhelming. You can also see one of the senators.
Yes.
Who belong to the ruling party.
Yes.
Ruling party at the federal.
Yes. That said anyone from another party, the ruling party members say they should kill them.
They should kill them. It's an intimidation.
But he recanted.
When there was groundswell of public outrage, that was when he reversed his statement that he didn't mean that. But from if you analyze the content of the statement, you know that he meant violence on people. What he ordered was the killing of people. So above all, if you want to curb anything like that, any intimidation, any violence in our election, our political system must be mopped up of element of thuggery. Those thugs must be mopped up. It is the stock and trade of the politician. We want to develop, we must reform our political system. We must reform it. Without any political reform, there cannot be any meaningful development. What this president is doing as economic reform is not the priority. That economic reform. What we need first is the political reform. It is when we get it right politically, when we create an enabling environment for people to choose their leaders, to choose good people. Because intimidation and violence has continued to produce mediocres in our political system. The politicians who are getting to the position of authority, they are the people who don't have the stuff. But because they have money and they can, throw it around, they can employ violence. That's why they get there. People who have the intellect, they are being scared away by the influence of money and the influence of violence. So if our political system is not reformed, we cannot get it right. That's why all of us, all women in Nigeria, we must cry out for political reform. And the idea of a politician using political talk should be a thing of the past. It is very obsolete. Obsolete. It can be likened to a situation where there was no civilization, a primitive society, an obedient state of nature. You can see what happened. It's as if there was no any government to regulate the country. As if there was no law. People are being killed with impunity. It's uncalled for. It's an insult on the constitutional authority of Nigeria. It's an insult. And if the constitutional authority in Nigeria are complicit, we should walk out and blame them for that complicity, because it reduces the prestige of Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Kende Ojoawo. Yes, I welcome Adebimpe Adelowo Esquire. Is the legal secretary of the Inter-Party Advisory Council. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure to be here once again.
Yeah, late.
I'm very sorry for coming late.
Yes,
I think I have a bad car, so I have to return it to mechanics place.
Because I was thinking that I will find you. So yes, we are discussing about vote transaction threats. That's talking about intimidation of voters. During elections at polling units, polling points. Understand? And I made my own personal research here, and I read some things talking about while registering to vote or during voting. And well, in addition to the federal laws prohibiting voter intimidation, each state has its own laws prohibiting voter intimidation and establishing penalties for voter intimidation or threats. And there are some federal statutes against voter threats. Yeah, that is talking about, and a December 2027 report from the Department of Justice. And well, some examples talking about the polling units, and they just, subsequently just give you maybe 5,000, 2,000 to vote for their party. But now it is, they use threats. We did not know that threats have been on for a long time. You might know, me I did not know. I had. Some examples were made here. Violent behavior inside or outside the polling site. Verbal threats of violence. Confronting voters while putting on military style or official looking uniforms.
That we are just discussing or have conversation around this very phenomenon. I think it has been on for several years.
Yes.
At least is a recurring dexima when it comes to elections in the country. The only thing that it has been escalated now, maybe because of the set of politicians we have. Before we have cultured and a strategy of persuading the electorate to come and vote for them. Yes, the use of money also involved. The set of politicians we have, let me say the set of people practicing politics now. We have several of them that are so immature, and then they are business-minded person, entrepreneur in politics. That they just only come to make money. They only come to transact. So they can use anything in order to achieve their aims. And that is what we have been witnessing and experiencing all this while. You see, when I mentioned the other time that we have cultured politicians in the past, now we don't have a set of people that have gone through process of becoming politicians. In the past, the reason we have cultured politicians is that we have many of them have their second address. to vote for them. But this time around, we have the set of intolerant politicians that they cannot tolerate opponents, including the sitting president of the country. We suppose the sitting president of the country, Yoruba used to say, Ogede Mbaje, Ogede Nkpon, Abi? No, Ogede Mbaje Nkpon. You understand? So it shows that when we have somebody of that age that has gone through normal process of politics, we have him at ends of affair. That is the period we're supposed to have it right. But no, intimidation.
But people believe President Tinubu, the sitting president, is a groomed, well-groomed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And grassroots.
A grassroots politician. But when you look at his antecedents, enormous. We're in the national TV. We should understand what happens in Lagos. I lived in Lagos. I practice politics in Lagos. I know that this set of people are the people that recruit miscreants, thugs, to intimidate, to the extent of even we heard of assassination of one politicians or the other in the name of what?
Yes, it was occurred in Ibadan, sometimes in Oyo State.
Oyo State. So we can understand, even to today, political violence, voter intimidation, we always found it even in Lagos. You remember in 2023, many elections were inconclusive in Lagos. But they glossed over it. Many offenders could have been arrested, but because they are working for whoever, nobody looked into that. In Ekiti, foot buyings, many were arrested. You know what is happening? Even in Ekiti, in a particular polling unit, we had it, it was recorded and placed it on social media, that even the electorate were chasing EFCC away. And nobody has deemed it fit to go and investigate what has happened there and bring the culprit to book. We looked away. In other elections, you know that these off-cycle elections have already exposed the weakness of our electoral process and the weakness of our security agencies in handling and managing the electoral process. Because in Edo, there are a lot of intimidations, arrests of opponents. Many opponents were arrested. Many of their property were destroyed. Even they disturbed their campaign rally or trains and a lot of things like that. It also happened in Osun, very recent one. Many of the opposition were arrested, SSG were arrested, Commissioner were arrested, there was arrested, and some other people were. It was, I think, a few days ago, the government and the government of Osun was pleading to a new Commissioner of Police to release all those one arrested, where the opposition alone perpetrated evil, all those evil in Osun. What happened to the APC? DLC, who has openly threatened the voters? What has happened to him? So we are...
Look at the 70-something-year-old man.
Oh man, senator. That's one to protect the constitutions of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Openly threatening. And later on he said,
He recounted
it, but he still made another statement even while he was voting. And nobody has come, even in football. If you dare say anything that threatens the opponent, and the football governing body will also take time and take the steps to investigate and punish. Punish whoever. And you see what happened at the just concluded World Cup. We've seen a lot of fine against the Argentina even. the almighty Argentina were being fined with because of all these incidents. You see, when there is no consequences for any actions.
Yes, you mentioned consequences. Now, I want a follow-up there. Consequences. Somebody should, the body, overlooking the events. INEC, what should INEC do? What can INEC do?
Then we have to go back to our law. As our law empowered INEC to take charge, if truly INEC is independent, why INEC has not acted to activate certain provisions of our laws? Of course, the recent Electoral Act made a lot of beautiful provisions. I said it in one of the programs, and that yes, it's good. Who are those ones that make all these provisions, made all this law? So, are they going to allow the law to work? They are the one. They are the one, and they are also the actor in the electoral process. Many of them want to return to the National Assembly and all the likes. They bring out money to do all these things. But they are the one making law against the vote buyings, against the violence, against the intimidations, harassment, and some other things. But they are the ones sending out their people, their thugs, to go and attack opponents. Of course, Fabansi is one of the example of what a member of National Assembly who has made law. How do you want that law to work? So the INEC are supposed to be saddled with the responsibility of even charging people to court. I have never read it in our law whether INEC has that authority. Only investigative authority that has that's saddled with that responsibility has audience before the court to charge anyone, EFCC, police, and some other things. Here, INEC has not been saddled with that responsibility of charging. The only thing INEC could do is to come and bear witness in court.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Adibimpe Adelowo Esquire, legal secretary, Inter-Party Advisory Council. Yes, comrade, how early do votes, transactions typically start in an election cycle? At least, and how do you think, might it have started for 2027?
Actually, if you look at it, it's developing gradually. From my own experience, I was not all that older in the Second Republic, but when I start to be observant, when I started to be observant of our political system, I can date it back to this 1999, this Fourth Republic.
Yes.
And we know the role played by, in this Oyo State, the role played by the strong man of Ibadan politics.
Late Baba Adedibo, Lamidi Adedibo.
He has, planted some seed that would be difficult to uproot in our politics, especially violence. You see, and even that food buying started from that place. If you recall, if they want to describe his style of politics, they call it Amalagbegiri politics.
Attracting people.
To attract people to his side, to come and vote, and it also is also accompanied by giving money to people.
Yeah, but that shows him as a grassroots politician, according to people, apart from the Amala and violence and what they do. He's a grassroots politician.
If he's a grassroots politician, it's not necessary to to give people money before they can vote. It's not necessary. If the politician has performed credibly well, is there any way? During the day of Bola Ige, was there anything like that? I didn't hear that there was anything like that. The program of the UPN that time, the manifesto promoted the party, made the people to vote for the party readily. And you can see that thing also resurrected in 1989. All those governors that emerged from the southwest, which Bola Ige sponsored, not that he used money to sponsor them, which he nominated. You see how people overwhelmingly voted for them because of the credibility of Bola Ige. So it is out of place to be engaging people with money or food. It is, that idea is promoting mediocrity in our politics.
You're talking about the threats here now.
Yeah, the two go together. So the politicians that employ threats, they can ask them to swear to a hold that if you don't vote, something will happen to you.
Like I read earlier, that they will collect number of vehicles. That if you don't vote, you will see.
So also form of intimidation. So that thing is not good. It's not good. And that threat, vote transaction threat, and vote buying became massive in Nigeria politics when this the ruling party, APC, when they got to power. We noticed it, massively in the off-cycle election conducted in Ekiti. That was after 2015. Was it 2026?
Yes, I think it was 2026.
I mean 2016. Okay.
Sorry, beg your pardon. 2016.
2016. You see how money was displayed to capture that state. Voting was exchanged for money as much as 10,000, 50,000. That was unknown to our system before. Even the vote buying that we witnessed before that time was maybe 1,000, 2,000, even 500. But during that time, they used massive amount of money. So it has been in our political system for long, especially the Fourth Republic, the beginning of the Fourth Republic, and we see many politicians that became thank God in their respective domain, like Ababade Dibu, Anene, others like that. They have become political.
Olusola Saraki.
A lot of them, you see, they believe in intimidating people. They believe in using them to deceive people. They don't believe in good performance. They don't believe in that. So, if care is not taken, as I said, if there is no strong political reform in Nigeria, the trend will continue, and we continue to deny this country good government.
Adibimpe Adilo Esquire, what steps should INEC take?
INEC?
Talking about vote buying and these threats, threats at polling units, most especially, even almost before election time.
INEC has no power of arrests.
Not arrest, but they can bring up some measures.
Yes, the only measure I think INEC can bring up is by sanctioning political parties. But do INEC have that will, effrontery, to sanction any political party? In as much you know that the party that appointed the INEC head are preventions or arrests.
But not a political party. All of the parties are guilty.
That is what I'm saying. My argument is this. If a ruling party that appointed the INEC chairman also are guilty of it, then what do you expect of other political parties? What power or what authority or what rights have INEC to, arrest or sanction one political party? Can you sanction the president's political party? It's a 1 million question. Because those are the things, that's where the problem is. It's not about what INEC can do, but what our society will do is to completely take INEC away from whims and caprices of a ruling, governments.
But INEC is independent.
It's not.
National
Who appoints the...
But it is supposed to be independent.
It's supposed to be independent. By name is independence. By provision is independent. By provisions of the law.
On paper.
By in a way, its independence has been taken away by provision of law. Because what I suppose to be the order of the day in INEC by appointing, by way of appointing is whoever will be promoted. You understand? The civil service method should be promoted to be the chairman. I don't know whether we get that. This is a sensitive agency that can shape our society. When you leave it in the hands of the government, that we know the politician will come and control, definitely that agency will be controlled. The government can dictate who is funding INEC. Is it not government? So all this in America, that we fashion our own electoral process along, you see that this independence of a thing is to be seen to be manifest. It's very, very manifest in their own system. They are the ones to determine how the agencies, the sitting governments cannot go, and president or what have you, cannot control the head of security agencies in America. You remember?
Yes.
A sitting government cannot control what judiciary will do.
Yes.
Trump has a lot of policies struck down by the judiciary, by the court. Can that happen here in Nigeria?
It is not possible.
It is not possible. So when Conrad was talking about political reform the other time, I think that is the way to go. Restructuring, that is the way to go. Let's ensure and that we reduce the power at the center.
What impact can they make at the polling units on election days? Just briefly.
They can
Talking about the threats.
They can make impact if fully